everyone, myself Chandni Vasi from Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari. In previous lecture, we learned all the definitions in complex variables. Today we learn the examples of Cartesian form and polar form. Also we learn the limit of the complex variable. So our first example, write the function f of z equals to z square plus 2 plus I in Cartesian form. So here we can write this function in Cartesian form. So Cartesian form, so we have variable x and y. So take z equals to x plus iy. So we have our function w equals to f of z and we replace z equals to x plus iy in this function. So our z replaced by x plus iy. So z square, so x plus iy whole square plus 2 plus I. Now here a plus b whole square is a square plus 2ab plus b square. So same way x square plus 2x into iy. So I2xy plus I square y square, but here I square equals to minus 1, so that we can write minus y square plus 2 plus I. Now we separate the real part and imaginary part. So here x square minus y square is real. There is no I in these two terms. So it is real part. And I 2xy is imaginary. Also these two is real. So we have our real part is x square minus y square plus 2 plus I. And imaginary part is 2xy plus I is common, so plus 1. So we have two terms, x square minus y square plus 2 plus I 2xy plus 1. So this is the real part, this is the imaginary part. Real part we call as u and imaginary part we call v. So we have our real part u of xy. U is a function of x and y. This is Cartesian form. So answer is x square minus y square plus 2 and v. V is imaginary. Imaginary part of function is 2xy plus 1. So this is our answer in Cartesian form. The another example is find the value of u and v in terms of r and theta if f of z equals to z bar. So we have function is f of z equals to z bar and we can write u and v in terms of r and theta. That means we can convert this function into polar form. So x and y is Cartesian form, r and theta is polar form. So here take z equals to r e raised to I theta. So here z bar. So we can write z bar equals to r e raised to minus I theta. So we know that if we write bar, then we can change the sign of I. The terms which have I, we convert the sign change. So w equals to f of z equals to, we have z equals to z bar. So z is first r e raised to I theta, then z bar is r e raised to minus I theta. So f of r e raised to I theta is r e raised to minus I theta. So also we know that e raised to plus or minus I theta is cos theta plus I sin theta. So we put the value of e raised to minus I theta is, if e raised to plus I theta, then we have plus sign. If minus I theta, then cos theta minus I sin theta. So r cos theta minus I sin theta. Now the real part is r cos theta minus I r sin theta. So we have u plus I. So real part is r cos theta and imaginary part v is r minus r sin theta. So we can convert this term into Cartesian form and this function into polar form. Now the another example, find the value of f of z equals to z square at z equals to 3 minus 2i. Also find u and v. So here first z equals to x plus iy, then we put this x plus iy into f of z. So w equals to f of z equals to z square is x plus iy whole square. So in previous example we know that x plus iy whole square is x square plus i2xy plus I square y square, but I square equals to minus 1, so we can write minus y square. So here real part is x square minus y square plus I, imaginary part is 2xy. So u is x square minus y square, v equals to 2xy. Now the extra term we have z equals to 3 minus 2i, we have find u and v. So at z equals to 3 minus 2i, compare this z equals to x plus iy. Compare with z equals to x plus iy. So we have x equals to 3, y equals to minus 2. So we have x equals to 3, y equals to minus 2. Now we put these x and y into u and v. So u equals to at point 3 minus 2, x equals to 3, y equals to minus 2. So 3 square minus 2 square. 3 square is 9 minus 2 square is 4. So we get the answer 5. And v of xy at point 3 minus 2 is 2, x is 3, y is minus 2. So 2 into 3 into minus 2 is minus 12. So our final answer function f of z equals to u plus iv. Answer of u is 5 and v is minus 12. So 5 minus I 12. Now limit of a complex function. Let w equals to f of z be any function of z defined in a bounded and closed domain D. A function f of z is said to have the limit capital L. We can denote limit as capital L as z tends to z0 if for every positive real epsilon greater than 0, we can find a positive real delta. So delta greater than 0 such that for all z not equals to z0, we can write the function as modulus f of z minus L less than epsilon whenever 0 less than modulus z minus z0 less than delta. We can also write this definition as limit z tends to z0 f of z equals to L. This is the definition of limit. Now theorem number 1. If w equals to f of z and we can write f of z equals to u plus iv, but u and v are in Cartesian form, so variable is x and y, so u of xy plus iv of xy and z0 equals to x0 plus iy0, then limit z tends to z0 f of z equals to u0 plus iv0 if and only if limit xy tends to x0 y0 u of xy equals to u0 and limit xy tends to x0 y0 v of xy equals to v0. This is two-way theorem. So if this then this. Also limit xy tends to x0 y0, u of xy equals to u0, and limit xy tends to x0 y0, v of xy equals to v0. Then also we can write limit z tends to z0, f of z equals to u0 plus I v0. Now next theorem, number 2. If z0 and w0 are points in the z and w planes respectively, then number 1, limit z tends to z0, f of z equals to infinity if and only if limit z tends to z0, 1 upon z equals to 0. Number 2, limit z tends to infinity, f of z equals to w0 if and only if limit z tends to 0, f of 1 upon z equals to w0. And number 3, limit z tends to infinity, f of z equals to infinity if and only if limit z tends to 0, 1 upon f of 1 upon z equals to 0. Now one example of limit. So prove that limit z tends to I, z minus I upon z square plus 1 equals to 1 upon 2I. We can prove limit z tends to I, z minus I upon z square plus 1 equals to 1 upon 2I. Now the left hand side, limit z tends to I, z minus I upon z square plus 1 equals to limit z tends to I, z minus I upon, we can write this z square plus 1 as z square plus 1 equals to, now z square plus 1. So here minus I square. So we can write z square plus minus minus I square. Now we have a square minus b square is a minus b, a plus b. So here z minus I, z plus I. So we can write here limit z tends to I, z minus I upon z minus I, z plus I. Because z square plus 1 equals to z minus I, z plus I. Now this z minus I cancel out. So limit z tends to I, 1 upon z plus I. Now we put the limit z tends to I. So 1 upon I plus I is 1 upon 2I. And this is our right hand side is 1 upon 2I. If here prove that is not given, then we can multiply the conjugate of 2I is minus 2I, multiply and divide, and then the final answer of limit. But here given that prove that, so our final answer is 1 upon 2I. In next lecture we learn continuity of the function. Thank you.